Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Since last night was the beginning of the month of Kartik, and last night we heard the Rasa-leela chapters, tonight we will stay in Vrindavan because the month of Kartik is presided over by Srimati Radharani. But first, I would be remiss if I did not show proper respects to my god brother. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patatanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And I'm glad you're sitting right next to me. So I have designed tonight's katha into 3 parts. First, we're going to read, and we all have sheets, the chapter in the Bhagavatam which deals with Damodara-leela. Second part, there are 2 shlokas elsewhere in the Bhagavatam which talks about this Damodara-leela. And then part 3, before we sing Damodarashtak, I want to go over the exact translations because there's a lot of nectar in this translation. If you're ready to proceed and to hear with rapt attention, which is how Sutta Goswami explains to the sages of Naimisharanya that he heard the original recitation of Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami with rapt attention. And that is how he was able to grasp the subject matters. So try to stay fixed. So the 9th chapter of the 10th canto, Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. Follow along on your sheets. That's the best way to get the most out of this class. One day, Mother Yashoda saw that all the maidservants were engaged in other household affairs. She personally began to churn the yogurt, and while churning, she remembered the childish activities of Krishna, and in her own way, she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself all about those activities. This pastime of Damodara-leela takes place on Diwali Day. They celebrated Diwali 5,000 years ago in Vrindavan. Why was Yashoda personally churning the butter? Because she has many maidservants. You have to go back to the previous chapters. In the previous chapters, it appears that our Krishna was very, very naughty. He would go to the neighbors' houses, steal butter and yogurt. And if he didn't like it, him and Balaram would create a disturbance. Sometimes passing stool and urine in the person's house, on the floor. Yes, naughty. Then, what would Krishna and Balaram do? They would find the little babies and pinch them to make them cry. So, the neighbors would sometimes go to Yashoda and complain. Your son is doing this. But that was just a pretext. Because the symptom of Vrindavan, everyone and everything loves Krishna. That's what makes Vrindavan special. So, on the plea of complaining, Actually, their whole purpose was just to see Krishna. Because the very name Krishna means all attractive. He's attractive not only to human beings, but the animals, the plants, the Yamuna River. Everything is attractive. Even Mother Earth, her grass, which means her hair, stands erect in jubilation when Krishna walks over the land of Vrindavan. It's a transcendental place. You have gone, my God brother, you go every year? Every year he goes to Vrindavan. It's a special place. So, Yashoda was thinking on this Diwali day, why is my son going to the neighbors, causing a disturbance, stealing their butter and yogurt? It must be that he's not happy with the food he's getting at home. So on this day, Yashoda decided, I'm going to make very special butter and yogurt. Yashoda, being the queen, Nanda Maharaj, her husband, he's the king of the cow herd. So she has her own special cows. And these cows flavor the milk because they eat special kinds of grass. So the cows, Yashoda's cows, eating that special grass gives that milk special flavor and aroma. It is with that milk that Yashoda is churning herself out of love for Krishna. Let's continue. Dressed in a saffron yellow sari, with a belt tight about her full hips, Mother Yashoda pulled on the churning rope, laboring considerably, her bangles and earrings moving and vibrating, and her whole body shaking. Because of her intense love for her child, her breasts were wet with milk. Her face, with its very beautiful eyebrows, was wet with perspiration, and malati flowers were falling from her hair. At this time, Krishna is less than 5 years old, so he's still a child. Now, one thing to note, here is Yashoda. She's the queen, right? And her son is God himself. She does not know that her son is God because she is in spiritual illusion. She does not know that this is the absolute truth. She just knows this is my son. So the point I always make, even you're the mother of God, you have to work. Not that you sit back, all right, you do this, no. Mother of God has to work, we have to work. People think, oh, when I go to heaven, I'll just sit back and watch TV all day. No. Going back to the kingdom of God means more work, real work. And that work is called bhakti, devotional work. Continuing. While Mother Yashoda was churning butter, Lord Krishna, desiring to drink the milk of her breast, appeared before her, and in order to increase her transcendental pleasure, he caught hold of the churning rod and began to prevent her from churning. Mother Yashoda then embraced Krishna, allowing him to sit down on her lap, and began to look upon the face of the Lord with great love and affection. Because of her intense affection, milk was flowing from her breast. But when she saw that the milk pan on the oven was boiling over, she immediately left her son to take care of the overflowing milk, although the child was not yet fully satisfied with drinking the milk of his mother's breast. So here's the tension. Every story has to have some tension. She's feeding Krishna, but in the kitchen, she can hear the milk is overflowing. Ladies, you know what it's like to clean the stove after the milk has spilled over. You have to scrub and scrub and scrub. You get tired, right? So she has to take care of the milk. Even though she's feeding her child, that takes priority. Being very angry and biting his reddish lips with his teeth. So, here in Bhagavatam, you get detailed information about God. As I mentioned last night, you ask people from other religions, so what does God look like? They cannot tell you. Their scriptures don't have a description. We know the color of his lips. Therefore, these Shastras are the most elevated of all religious scriptures. Reddish lips with his teeth. Krishna, with false tears in his eyes, broke the container of yogurt with a piece of stone. He's naughty. Here he is again. He's broken the container of yogurt. And notice, false tears in his eyes. He's being, what we would say, a rascal. That's what's happening here. Then he entered a room and began to eat the freshly churned butter in a solitary place. This is Krishna. Mother Yashoda, after taking down the hot milk from the oven, returned to the churning spot. And when she saw that the container of yogurt was broken and that Krishna was not present, she concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of Krishna. Krishna at that time was sitting on an upside-down wooden mortar for grinding spices. It's called ulukula. That's the technical term. And was distributing milk preparations, such as yogurt and butter, to the monkeys as he liked. Krishna is the friend of the monkeys. Those who've been to Vrindavan, how many monkeys you got? And they'll take your watch, they'll take your cell phone, they'll take your japa mala. Those monkeys are very, very rascally and very intelligent. They're something else. Okay. Because of having stolen, he was looking all around with great anxiety. So he knows he's being mischievous. He's not innocent. He knows what he's doing, suspecting that he might be chastised by his mother. Mother Yashoda, upon seeing him, very cautiously approached him from behind. Now, how did Yashoda find Krishna? She traced his footsteps because he must have stepped in the butter when he broke the pot, and he left traces of his butter-smeared footprints. So Yashoda just had to follow the trail. When Lord Sri Krishna saw his mother, stick in hand. Anybody got the stick when they were a child in India? Oh, you got it. That's no joke, huh? You learn. If you have strict parents, you learn. Okay. He very quickly got down from the top of the mortar and began to flee as if very much afraid. Notice Shukadeva Goswami. As if very much afraid. Meaning, Krishna, even though he's 3-4 years old, he's still God. And he knows what's going on. And he's playing. This is what we mean by leela. It's a play. Krishna is playing like an ordinary human child. I don't think your child was naughty, was he? I don't think so. But it is common. Young boys, they're very naughty. Young girls, not so much. Am I right? Only when they become teenagers, that's when you have to watch. But the boys, young, very, very naughty. So Krishna is as if very much afraid, playing the role. Although yogis try to capture him as Paramatma by meditation, desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord with great austerities and penances, they fail to reach him. But Mother Yashoda, thinking that same personality of Godhead, Krishna, to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. In other words, Krishna jumped down from the grinding mortar and was running because she had the stick. All right? And Krishna is small, so he's running very fast. While following Krishna, Mother Yashoda, her thin waist overburdened by her heavy breasts, naturally had to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose, and the flowers in her hair were falling after her. Yet, she did not fail to capture her son, Krishna. So it took some time, but eventually caught him. When caught by Mother Yashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. As she looked upon him, she saw that he was crying, his tears mixing with the black ointment around his eyes. So, what is that word that's used? Kajal. So, Krishna wears kajal. And you ladies, right? You wear. And as he rubbed his eyes with his hands, he smeared the ointment all over his face. So, Shukadev is painting such a full description of this Leela. And the song, when we go over the song, it's the same way. Very, very crystal clear picture. Why? So that we can meditate on it. This month of Kartik, month of Damodar, we sing this song. Vaishnavas sing it twice a day. The whole month is a meditation on this pastime. Because this pastime is so wonderful, and as I said, the description by Shukadev is so explicit. There's lots to meditate. Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to chastise him. Mother Yashoda was always overwhelmed by intense love for Krishna, not knowing who Krishna was or how powerful he was, because, remember, on Janmashtami night, Yashoda had given birth to a girl. But after giving birth, she fell asleep. When she woke up, she did not remember that she gave birth to a girl. And by that time, Vasudeva had switched the girl with Krishna. So for all she knows, she gave birth to Krishna. But the truth is revealed 11 years later when Krishna kills Kamsa. After the killing of Kamsa, the truth is revealed because Krishna says to Yashoda and Nanda, now I want to spend time with my real parents. And they were, what? You're our son. But now it was revealed. Actually, the babies were switched. Actually, I'm the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And Vasudeva and Devaki praised Nanda and Yashoda, thanking them for taking such good care of Krishna those 11 years. Let's go back. Because of maternal affection for Krishna, she never even cared to know who he was. Therefore, when she saw that her son had become excessively afraid, she threw the stick away and desired to bind him so that he would not commit any further naughty activities. Significant that she threw the stick away. Yashoda is a loving parent. She determined, if I use the stick, that's too much punishment. And by doing that, it will cause some psychological damage to the child, and later on, he won't grow up properly. But she still had to punish. So she decided, okay, I won't beat him, but he's causing such a disturbance. He's so restless, I'm going to tie him up so that I can continue my housework. So now Shukadeva Goswami is going to explain to us how to understand Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning and no end. What's the name? No beginning and no end. You all know this name. Ananta. Everybody say. No exterior, no interior. No front, no rear. In other words, all pervading. There are two names for Krishna being all pervasive. Vasudeva, everybody say. And Vishnu. These two names indicate Krishna is all pervading. Because he is not under the influence of the element of time, for him, there is no difference between past, present, and future. In other words, everything is now. We are under the control of time. You see it every day when you look in the mirror. If you're honest with yourself, you realize, another wrinkle, another gray hair, oh my back, oh my knees, oh my stomach. We see it at young kids, no. For young kids, get up, another day to play. Haribo. But as we get older, 40s, 50s, we begin to understand time. What does Krishna say in chapter 11? Time I am, and I have come to destroy everything. And in the Bhagavatam, it is called imperceptible time. I remember very clearly one day when I was 40, 45, I couldn't read small print. All my life I had 20/20 vision. I was proud. Then all of a sudden, what? I got to get glasses? Oh man, I'm getting old. Who likes getting old? No, I didn't think so. Nobody does. We don't like it. It's the representative of Krishna, meaning death is coming sooner than you think. Are you prepared? Are you ready? This time element is Krishna's mercy. Wake up call. Maybe some of you go on a business trip. You have to stay in a motel. So you leave a message at the front desk. Can you please give me a wake-up call at 5 o'clock? Have you ever done that? I've done that. So Krishna is doing that by this time element, giving you so many wake-up calls. Wake up, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. The final exam is coming. Don't put it off. Be prepared. Surrender to Krishna. Everybody, Hare Krishna. Krishna exists in his own transcendental form at all times. Being absolute, beyond relativity, he is free from distinctions between cause and effect. Although he is the cause and effect of everything. Brahma Sanghita, first verse. Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is the original cause of all other causes. that unmanifested person who is beyond the perception of the senses. The name for Krishna beyond the senses is called Adhokshaja. Everybody say. Meaning microscopes, telescopes, any material instrument, you cannot see Krishna. The only way to see Krishna, bhakti, bhakti, bhakti. There is no alternative. You want to see Krishna? Loving service. This is we learn from Bhagavad Gita 3 times. You want to see me? Bhakti. You want to come to me? Bhakti. You want to understand me? Bhakti. Not karma, not jnana, not yoga. Bhakti. That is the process. That unmanifested person who is beyond the perception of the senses had now appeared as a human child, and Mother Yashoda, considering him her ordinary child, bound him to the wooden mortar with a rope. But the fun is just about to begin. When Mother Yashoda was trying to bind the offending child, she saw that the binding rope was short by a distance the width of 2 fingers. Thus she brought another rope to join it. This new rope also was short by a measurement of 2 fingers. And when another rope was joined to it, it was still 2 fingers too short. As many ropes as she joined, all of them failed. Their shortness could not be overcome. Krishna here is playing a big trick on Yashoda. You could have brought all the ropes in the universe, it would still have come out 2 fingers too short, because Krishna was performing a mysterious pastime. Thus, Mother Yashoda joined whatever ropes were available in the household, but still she failed in her attempt to bind Lord Krishna. Mother Yashoda's friends, the elderly gopis in the neighborhood, were smiling and enjoying the fun. Similarly, Mother Yashoda, although laboring in that way, was also smiling. All of them were struck with wonder. In other words, they gave up. They became flabbergasted. Maybe that's happened to you. It's happened to me. You're trying to do something. You do it once, twice, 3, 4. No matter what you do, it doesn't come out. So you start laughing. Because you can't solve your problem. So this is what's happened here. She's tried so much rope, but it's still 2 fingers too short. What's the use? What's the use? Because of Mother Yashoda's hard labor, her whole body became covered with perspiration. So that means she was really working here. If your whole body is perspiring, that means you're working hard. And the flowers and comb were falling from her hair. When child Krishna saw his mother thus fatigued, he became merciful to her and agreed to be bound. That's the key. In other words, Krishna was teaching us through Yashoda, don't think I'm so easy to capture. I have to agree to be captured. There is the first verse of Bhagavatam. There is this phrase, abhigya swarat. Very 2 important words understanding God. Abhigya, meaning God knows everything, past, present, future. It's mentioned by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And then Swarat, completely independent. Nobody can force Krishna to do anything. My wife can easily force me to do whatever she wants. Trust me. She has so many boons that I've given her. You know how many boons I've given her? 108. Because of so many different things which I cannot go into. Okay? So I'm not Swarat. All right. Krishna is unlimitedly Swarat. Nobody can make him do anything. That's why this term is used. Causeless mercy. The meaning of causeless is you can't make Krishna, but sometimes out of his own sweet will, he blesses his devotees. Out of his mutual love for. So in this case of Yashoda, when Krishna sees that she has become flustered, she's perspiring, and she's tried and tried and tried, Krishna is saying, okay, now I will allow you to tie me up. So the Sanskrit word for rope, guna, the same word is used to signify the three modes of nature: goodness, passion, ignorance, by which we are bound. But Krishna is nirguna, meaning no ropes, no modes can tie up Krishna. That is the meaning of nirguna. Some people think, oh, nirguna